I think by the time this will be releasing, it will be at the end of the year. So, first of all, Happy New Year's, I guess, Happy Holidays. And the second of all is that I hope I will finish that video that I was working on, and I'm still working on of the end of the year because I wrote and rewrote it multiple times, and each time I write it with a different mentality or different approach. This time I want it to just be something just for the funsies of it, just looking back at it. I don't want it to have like high production or anything, because even though if you look at other videos other than the podcast type stuff that I do here, you will find them that they are pretty simple. But actually, that is just, I don't know how to describe it, but they are just the sketches or the thumbnails or the storyboard of the actual videos because I put a lot of work into them. But then I sit back and I look at it and I think to myself, it is supposed to be just a quick video. Why the fuck am I putting too much effort into it? So, yeah, the same thing is going on here where I rewatched it multiple times, and in the end, I want it to just be just something, just for shits and giggles, something to look back at it and see what I have done that year and how I felt about it. That is the whole purpose of it, I guess. So, yeah. So, with that said, I think that was a quick intro to shenanigans that I've been up to. So, I don't know if I said that before, but another one of my teeth have completely shattered, kicked the bucket, so it needs to be fixed. And I was faced with the options of either like do a simple filler or do another treatment again, which is like I need a crown for this uh, second tooth this year, which will cost me again a lot of money, and my savings are basically dry. If I go with this secondary treatment that she gave me, I will be completely like broke this time. I will have nothing to like lean on. So I will be in a very dangerous situation. So that is what I decided to just do a simple filler and just pray to God nothing goes wrong. I cut down already on eating quite a lot. I lost a lot of weight. Maybe it is not just from nutrition, but also the lack of sleep because every time I go to this dentist, she messes me up. She messes up my schedule because uh, she doesn't have a good schedule. Like if I have scheduled a meeting, for example, or a session in Mondays, she will not be there. And even if she was there, I'll go there, for example, at 8 or 8:30. She doesn't come or she doesn't get there until like 10:30. So that is how much. Yeah, it is very messed up, but it is what it is because it is the only dentist that is close to me, unless I want to like go for miles, and at that point I will add in also the additional cost of transportation. So that is why I'm just sticking with it for now. I'm just trying to finesse my situation right now and just trying to get by. But it is not all doom and gloom because I recognized something or realized something when I first went into the dentist's office and I didn't find her there. So since it was early in the morning, I was like, why not go for a walk? I am not familiar with this area that I live in right now. I like the previous one, which we moved out to when I was still young, so I was going outside, socialize with the kids of the neighborhood, and they take you all over the place to see all of the different, I don't know, facilities that are surrounding you. If that makes any sense, if all of the different stores, for example, like for the electronic stuff, for like the hardware stores for like utensils or whatever things that you might need someday for some reason you might want some extra specific thing that you will find only on those specialized store, for example, or you want just a pharmacy, for example. The pharmacy that is closest to me is a decent like 10 minutes walk in comparison to the previous one that was just around the corner. So yeah, I went in for a walk and tried to find like a pattern or something to fall in love with because I really wanted to change the lifestyle that I had this year. It was pretty toxic It was pretty workaholic. I always use the word workaholic as like a funny hee hee xd type of thing, but it was not. This type of lifestyle is very bad. And to have your style of life or whole life being stuck or split between just work and sleep is not necessarily the best thing to do, especially for a whole year. That was a very, very not just bad, but it was a dumb decision. Because as I talked about it or I wrote about it in the script of the end of the year video, it was a I kept in mind the problems that might occur regarding my physical health. That is why I had a lot of stuff that I put in place so my physical health doesn't get affected that much. Like I work standing for quite some time. I remember like doing it for only 3 months that I work standing, or just I switch between sitting down and standing for about like 2 hours each, and so on. And obviously exercises, which is day in day out, or like 3 times per week or 2 times at least. And yeah, but I completely neglected the mental side of things, which is being like in the same place. I wanted to write something about it, being like being in a prison of my own making, but I decided to just lump it out with the end of the year video and just make just one. But there is the feeling that I got by like almost November or uh, September, where I was feeling literally like I was in a prison, where all of that I can remember is just getting from bed to this chair and sitting in front of the screen, doing whatever modeling, 3D texturing, whatever, then moving on to concept art, 2D line art, Genga layout stuff. So that was unhealthy. So that is why the walks are pretty important thing for me right now, which is like something that I want to add into the workout schedule that I had, which is going for a walk before doing the workout. And I'm talking here just walk. I don't want to go for a run or anything. I just want to chill and just walk down the street and see what's going on around me, because it was fascinating, and most importantly it was inspiring, because I got a lot of ideas while I was walking. One of them was for this like vegetable seller that had this onion crates in front of the store that was closed, and I was like, why did he leave it there, and why don't I take one? For example, if I took one, what are the consequences of it? And I like to think about these because they kind of exercise your mind in terms of like morality, in terms of like ideologies that your characters might have, and so on. For example, you can think of it from the point of view or the perspective of different characters that you might have in your story, and each one of them, what are their reactions. For example, one of them was they might pick up a whole crate and run with it, or they might pass him by in a car and pick one and just drive away, or they might drive away in a bike, like a motorcycle or something of that sort. And then I had the genius idea of thinking of a story around the fact that you took that. So where are you taking it? Are you reselling it? Are you using it at home? For example, in terms of the bike, they were like young kids. So if you take it home, will they just take it and use it, or will they have some different reaction? For example, the parents will have different reaction other than that, like put it back where you left it, or give it back to its owner, or go back and stay there until the owner returns and give it back to them and apologize before you come home, or I will report you to the police or something like that. Because this must seem stupid and it must seem like outrageous, but it was based on something that I think some of the parents of my friends that I had would actually do, because that as wild or barbaric or savage way of treating your kid when they do mistakes like that, which is not a mistake, it's actually a crime, but regardless, when they do some mistakes like that, you need to teach them the lesson, which in terms of the environment where you grow up, that can be the right way to do it. And actually, if you go softer on them, uh, in that case it will be the actual bad decision, the bad parenting, because you're not teaching them the rules of or the laws of that world, because we live in different worlds basically. This is something that you don't see that clear, but when you read about stuff and when you experience stuff and when you, I don't know, grow up, you will learn that we actually do be living in different worlds from each other. So the way of parenting that will be outrageous in one community, on one society, or whatever, or one class specifically, because this is mainly a broke class that I was thinking of, because mainly I am broke and I grew up in a broke kind of neighborhood and class and so on. So yeah, that was a nice thing. The other one was regarding gameplay, because I had this genius idea, which wasn't that genius, but it was something that I was interested in, especially when it comes to urban settings. How do you make them recognizable? How do you make it so the player doesn't get lost? Specifically because I am here like the player, and this is a new environment that I just moved up in. So as I move, I try to like find ways to either like find my way back home, or just find my way around, trying to find landmark or something like that. So if you ask me where have you been or where are you right now, I can show you the way to where I am, and guide you perfectly to where I am or where you're asking to go. For example, if it's like a bank or something, I will be able to guide you using lined. What the fuck am I saying? I will be able to guide you using landmark. For example, when you reach, I don't know, the police station, turn left and then continue forward. You're gonna find a roundabout. That is where you're supposed to be moving forward for about 2 blocks. Then you will see the bank right in front of you, or something like this. So that is one. Two is the fact that you do not remember necessarily about locations and things like that, because you might forget streets. You might forget streets that leads to other streets. So you might think, for example, the bank or other facility that might be in that street, but it is actually the street behind it or the street in front of it, or like 2 blocks away from it. But because you haven't been in that area, you don't know the street that much. And maybe even like those streets might have like meet there might be some new streets that have been built up there, or like the whole block was reconstructed. So yeah, that is like a very hard gameplay thing to implement. For example, if the player doesn't visit a certain area, that area you can either go the lazy way and have just a cloud texture on top of it just to hide it, so the player kind of go back to it. But that is kind of undermining the effort that the player will put in. So a better solution, which will be harder, is to make it as we remember it, or as I remember it right now, or as I thought of it when I was on that walk, is that the roads kind of meet up with each other. So they kind of cross to each other. So they kind of feel like they're crossing, but it's actually there are 2 roads and there are 2 entrances to that neighborhood or to that street. So now that you're thinking of it, because you haven't been there, you think that there is like a V section that leads to those 2 paths, when in reality it is like 2 separate paths. And it might be even worse than that, because it might be like a labyrinth where there are a lot of streets that connect, and there are some streets that don't lead anywhere other like than a dead end. But you think that the facility that you want to go there to, whatever facility that it might be, for like gameplay wise, some special shop or whatever, you will still have the icon there, but the roads will be completely flipped, or they will collapse into just one street. When you actually get there, you will find out that it is a complete like labyrinthian type of neighborhood. So that was like a nice mechanic, but it is very difficult. It is very difficult to try and actually implement that in, because you will either have like a few variation of the whole map or each one of the blocks, or you will have that being a smart system where you will have splines instead of using rasterized levels or the pixelated levels, which are like PNGs or pictures. Instead of using those, you will use SVGs, which are patch that are basically just mathematical equations. You just connect between this point A and point B for like whatever distance it is, and you can change it however you want to, scale it up or down, and it won't not lose any resolution. So yeah, using that will be the best way to go about it, but it is, I don't know, unintuitive, and at the same time not too many people will be too keen about playing a game with that type of gimmick, unless uh, you finesse it some way. And yeah, it is just one of the few ideas that I got while going on this walk, which I am planning to introduce this change moving forward. Uh, so I will have just a little bit of change of pace uh, instead of just sitting here in front of the screen for a whole year. So yeah, that is one of the plans for next year. The other one is actually a pretty interesting one, which is I am not asking for anything and I'm not looking forward for nothing other than two things. One of them being learning programming, which is learning how the programming languages work, how computer sciences work, and I want you to learn it like actually learn it from the basis of it, something like what I did with graphics in general, especially with the 3D, because I learned it all through 3D, through try and error. How do polygons work, vertices, edges, UV unwrapping, and how all of that connects together, and how to actually use it, not to how does a certain workflow works, but how or what is the purpose or the job of each one of these things. What does the 3D model do? What does it what is it composed of? What each one of those components role is, or what can it be used for example, and so on. Same thing goes with the textures, same thing goes with like the light, and so on and so forth. So I want to do the same when it comes to programming, because I want to have a very basic low level understanding, so I'll be able to create whatever things that I want to, because my plan is uh, I'm not looking forward to working with Unreal Engine, to be honest, and the only version that I liked right now is Unreal 4, because it is intuitive and it does work. Unreal 5 is very bloated. I don't like to work with it. It is very slow, and I know my hardware is pretty outdated, but still, even though that it's count as a low level or low spec hardware, I spent my blood on this. So yeah, it was a year of saving, a year of like pure saving. I'm talking about like every expense was cut down just to save for the PC and the tablet that I bought. So yeah, I'm pretty proud of it, and I don't think this type of hardware should struggle with the Unreal 5, especially because there is nothing in it. It is just the basic screen, the basic scene that have only like whatever. It have a sky shader, HDRI, and sky texture. There isn't a sky texture because I think they moved on to using the big boy stuff, which is the volumetrics, instead of using sky shaders, which I think sky maps look better than cloud shaders or cloud volumetric stuff, because I don't know, they just look better. Volumetric haven't reached the level that they will look better, except if you just raise the sample value, which at that point your GPU might actually catch on fire. So yeah, I'm sticking with Unreal 4, and I want to learn through it because I want to make my own engine, even though that I know that it is a tall task to actually make your own engine, but I think it is the better thing to do, because at one hand you will make a specific engine for you, yourself, and your studio and people that work with you, that is specifically for your type of workflow. That is one. Two, it will be a great deal for you because all of the earns or the winnings that you're going to take from your game are going to belong to you. So none of it will go to the actual like Epic Games. Does take 20%, I think, or 15%, and then there is 30% that goes to Steam. So in total, you have like 40% of your revenue going to the engine and the storefront. So you're losing quite on a lot. That is why I think going with an engine, custom engine, is better. So yeah, that is why I want to learn C++, because I want to work with a hybrid workflow with Unreal, Blueprint, and C++. So C++ will have all of the big boy stuff, like the engines that I will be responsible for interaction between materials, physics, the complexity of sound effects, and so on. Those will be be written in C++. So when I want to migrate them to another engine or to my custom engine, it will be an easy task. But for small stuff, it will be just Blueprint, and yeah, that's about it. Other than that, we have music, which is something that I always wanted to learn, but I just could not wrap my head around it. There were a few attempts this year, but I just could not get into it. I don't know. I don't think I have the right mindset to get into it. So yeah, I'm not gonna wait until I have the right mindset or the right feel, but I will try to break my way through it. Again, learning the low level basics. How does sound work? How does the sampling work? How does like the beeps and boops, do they work? Synthesizers specifically, those like looks and sound very interesting to me. And yeah, those are the two things that I'm looking forward next year. Those are the only goals that I'm looking forward to actually achieving, other than finishing more projects this year, because that is one of the major goals or major problems that I have suffered from. So I want to completely like solve this problem come next year, and maybe make a name for myself, like start publishing more and get people to notice me through my work, either be it like posts on like other social medias or videos I share or this small podcast. So yeah, uh, that was about it. These were all of the things that I've been up to this week. Uh, there wasn't a lot of production, a lot of stuff going on, because most of it was editing this podcast and creating some other videos, and working on some stuff, some studies, and some other things that I've been interested in, because I was interested in gacha games, more importantly, the graphics that they have, be it animation, shaders, modeling, environment art, because I really don't like gacha games, but I don't know where did I heard it necessary, but it was a nice quote of, even if you don't like the person, or you don't like what they say or what their orientation is, be it like ideology or politics or whatever, you need to take the good parts out of it and leave the bad ones, because if you don't take the good parts, you're the only one that is losing. So you might lose on like some good advice or some good thing, just because you were stubborn or something like that. So that is what I'm doing right here, is just to kind of engage with these gacha games and try to glean from them the good things, so to speak. I don't know what exactly to describe them as, but mainly they are regarding visuals, because when it comes to gameplay, they completely shit the bed. And it is also a good thing in terms of gameplay, because you learn what not to do, because the gameplay is very bland. It's completely like a sterilized, the gameplay. It makes it like a very like bland, uh, tasteless experience, where only if you pay you will have a nice experience, even though that they a lot of them advertise themselves as free play friendly, but they're not. When you start reaching some levels where there is an enemy that only can be dealt with ice damage and piercing weapons and specific blunt type of damage. That if you look at all of these specific details, you will see that they look awfully quite a lot like the specifics or the attributes of the character on the banner. So if you want to get through this, you better roll for your character and get that. If not, you will be just sitting there in like limbo or purgatory, just sitting there, just smashing buttons, because that's what mostly you do. Except here, you will be just pressing those buttons for a millennia, and you still won't get through it. So yeah, but visuals wise, they are very great. I really enjoyed watching a British man play the new Arc Knight. I was about to call it Arc Knight Systems, like like the other Arc system works. But yeah, it's Arc Knight, the new game. It had some nice UI and some nice ish visuals. I'm not that big of a fan when it comes to the character designs. I feel like the character designs that they had there, most of them, if not all of them, are very bad, even by the standards of Arc Knight. So yeah, I'm not a big fan of them, but I really liked what they did with the environment a bit and what they did with the UI. So those are pretty neat elements. Some of the environment art is good, most of it is bad or generic. A lot of upcoming gacha games also look promising, so I'm looking forward to them, because I fall into a trap where I was looking at the basics and trying to study so much with my head down without looking around and see what my acquaintances, if you want to call them that, have done to advance the medium. So because that is very important, because you don't want to trace a road that was already traveled once or twice or maybe thrice. You want to like build up on that, so you want to go further beyond what they already did. So you need to know what they actually did, how did they do it, and what you can do to innovate on it or to add it into what you have already done to reach a higher place, rather than just reaching something that is mid or below what is standard of that time. So yeah, studying these games is definitely an important thing to do, so I don't fall behind when it comes to the visuals. And yeah, looking forward to studying those and trying to do some actual designs that look like those, and maybe move into 3D. So this is something that I also want to do next year, which is sculpting, but I'm not too keen on that right now. It's not something that is at my top priority, like with C++ and music, because those are two important things. Because C++ is totally a new medium when it comes to programming, and music is a totally new medium when it comes to the sonic side of things. Other than the visuals, you have the sonic, which is visual effects or sound effects, sorry, and music. So you want to know how those works. So if you want to implement them into your game, you will know how to do so in a very tasteful manner, because the tracks that you hear in a game, they have multiple layers, so they can transition smoothly into each other, or they can ramp up in terms of like the hype, like what you have in Breath of the Wild, for example. I think the battle music have some other extra layers that gets added into it the longer you go into a battle, or the more enemies that you have, or the harder difficulty the enemy is. They add in few extra instruments, the more difficulty rises or enemy number rises. So yeah, that is a very important thing. For sculpting, I think I can do low poly modeling for like quick rough models for ideas that I have, and do like rough animations for them and implement them into the game just to test them. So there isn't sculpting isn't going to play that much role, especially when it comes to the early stages, but I will be practicing it regardless, just as a part of gesture drawing, as a part of studying for like be it like anatomy or anything of that sort. So yeah, that's about it. I think I should end it here. By my estimation, this episode will be released close to the end of the year. So again, happy new year. Hope you did well this year. If not, there are many years to come, and if they are not, well, we did our best, so who cares? Anywho, thank you all for listening, and as always, make sure to have yourselves a damn good one.